2nd, 2022 regular Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Ask clerk to please call the roll.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. I'd also like to note Supervisor Anderson is absent from today's meeting. With that, before I call the roll, I'd like to note that for the record that all supervisors are participating via teleconference. As such, all votes will be handled by a roll call vote. With that, I will now call the roll. Supervisor Lawson-Remer.
Here.
Supervisor Desmond.
Here.
Vice Chair Vargas.
Here.
Chair Fletcher.
Fletcher here. First on the agenda is non-agendized public communication, an opportunity for the public to address the board on matters within our jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. The only action we may take is a referral to the Chief Administrative Officer. Reminder, according to Rule 4A, members of the public that are non-English speaking and need interpretation assistance will be allotted additional time to facilitate translation. We will hear from a maximum of 10 speakers via phone. Any remaining non-agendized public speakers will be heard at the conclusion of today's board meeting. And I'll ask the clerk to please call forward up to 10 public speakers.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. We have 14 requests to speak on matters not listed on the agenda. For those that requested to speak, please dial into the conference line now using the instructions provided to you. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. I would like to remind callers they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We will begin with our first caller. Again, please state your name before beginning your comments.
Hi, good morning. This is KB Strange, a pharmacist serving communities in District 5. I'm calling in from work today where I've been employed in the medical field for over 40 years. I've argued against marijuana sales and cultivation in San Diego County because neighborhoods don't improve with more marijuana businesses in them, just like neighborhoods do not improve with more liquor stores or head shops or smoke shops. What our rural neighborhoods do need and ask for are parks or playgrounds, paved and well-lit streets, and regular trash pickup. I'm guessing that this Board of Supervisors and your staff know that marijuana is smoked and vaped, and that you understand the critical impact that smoking and vaping have for all people, minorities and economically disadvantaged people, which include chronic health problems, shortened lifespan, not to mention the expenses involved in marijuana and tobacco use. We do know that the marijuana industry is dominated by big corporations, including the international tobacco companies of Altria, Imperial Brands, and British American Tobacco. Our patients have no interest in marijuana businesses in their towns. So we all wonder where that interest in marijuana businesses is coming from. We think there's probably a lot of money locally behind the push for bringing marijuana businesses to our area. So this situation creates a lack of trust when supervisors decide to drop something on residents they did not ask for and ignore what we do ask for and need. So this morning, I'm asking you to please listen to the real needs of the regular people of District 5. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
Good morning. My name is Barbara Gordon. I am a public health educator who advocates for the protection of young people when it comes to marijuana. California state law prohibits children from marijuana outlets, but those statewide restrictions are not working as well as policymakers had hoped. In California, outlets are required to screen out underage customers before they reach retail areas where marijuana marketing and products are displayed. They do this by posting age limit signage and by having an ID checkpoint. There was a study in JAMA Pediatrics, and it looked at 700 licensed marijuana outlets in California and found that many of the retail locations had inadequate screening process, which allowed minors to enter and view items that should be restricted to adults 21 and over. They had trained researchers who were close to the legal age to purchase cannabis, usually between 21 and 23 years old, were sent across California to test these screening processes. 97% of the outlets complied with ID checks, but only 12% checked IDs outside, and nearly 68% failed to comply with the age limit signage. Once the researchers were inside, whether it was an accident or not, they were able to see an array of marijuana marketing material and products. It is important as the county implements their ordinance, it will address compliance with age-restricted signage and exterior ID checkpoints before minors ever are able to enter the marijuana outlet. Protecting our kids from marijuana marketing and products are vital. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
This is Audra, but this is a statement that is not my own. It is from a local healthcare whistleblower. Good morning, San Diego community, businesses, and parents. Listen up. Take the masks off. These are a great way to silence the mouth, hide facial expressions, and these masks are being used for human trafficking and a huge spike in local hospitals. CEOs, doctors, teachers are all trafficking children, and there are many more in San Diego doing the same. Foreign pregnant women are flown in, deliver their babies, and the women fly home, and the babies go into the pedophiles network, aka CPS. Remember, community, stay out of the hospitals. Hospitals fired their patient advocating staff only to outsource foreign workers to commit these crimes against humanity, human trafficking, and murdering patients. Is the new mask order being reinstated because March is considered CYM adrenochrome hunting season? For San Diego police, gangs are no longer selling drugs, they're selling children because it pays better. Did you all know that these young foreign gang traffickers will be at every school and in your neighborhood soon? You all better get into reality and individually sue these doctors, business owners, teachers, etc., who are following along with these mandates. That, again, was not from me. It was from a whistleblower that's locally here in San Diego. I ask all of you to do some research into what these masks really mean and why the fact they are keeping them on children in school when everybody else can take them off. We have to protect our future generations that will be here after we're gone. If we don't, this board will destroy every single life that they have touched. And we know what that means.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
Ann Riddle. I would like to share with you this morning, parent advocate. I often speak on behalf of parents. In fact, we're having our annual meeting this afternoon. And as a parent advocate, I'd like to bring to those who are elected to serve parents and families some of the information I hope that they'll find useful. Over the last 20 years, of particular interest to me has been marijuana in its progression here across the state of California. As you may know, only 30% of the cities and the counties in California permit marijuana businesses, and there's a good reason for that. As that opportunity from Prop 64 slowly rolls across, people have had a chance to take a real-time look at what having permitted marijuana sales and production facilities looks like, and they're not pleased with what they see. But particularly on the part of parents, they're concerned about what they see for their young people, 25 years and younger, and are not so excited about having our young people's mental health, among other situations, hampered by the normalization that marijuana stores bring. Sometimes we're told that it's an access issue, and we all know that that's not true, that marijuana is available and has been for decades. And what access simply means is that you have more marijuana businesses, so it's seen by more young people, and it does what's really what the marijuana industry wants. It wants to increase the number of people who are consuming marijuana, because like all predatory industries, including alcohol, and tobacco, you have two things you want to accomplish. You want to reach into a younger market because then you have them for a longer period of time as their addiction grows. And you want to increase the market for those who are already using from, say, once a week to every day.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to the next caller.
Hello, my name is Suzanne Hume. I'm the Educational Director and founder of CleanEarthForKids.org. I hope everyone is having a great day. I would like to call to talk again, as I have for many times over the past years, and ask the county to please stop leasing lands, our publicly funded lands, to businesses that are doing great harm. And an example of that is West Coast Tomato Growers, also known as Oceanside Poles. In Oceanside, I was poisoned by pesticides that they use. Did you know that only 15 pesticides are banned in the U.S., where China bans 51 and the EU bans 175 pesticides? We have pesticides being used that drift, that are known to drift over 2.5 miles, and some further, 50 miles, like dicamba. And in Oceanside, the West Coast Tomato Growers, those fields are less than 100 feet from people's homes where children and families live, also near the river and also near the bike trail. So I'm asking the county, and also West Coast Tomato Growers has worker violations that are known and had to pay over $1 million. So the county must immediately publish what pesticides are being used, not just in our parks, which you need to stop the toxic pesticides used in the parks where kids play, and all over the county, and also where to the companies that are, and businesses that are leasing land. We need to know the amount of pesticides used, the other countries where these pesticides are banned, how far these pesticides drift, their known toxicity to fish, aquatic life, bees, pollinators, human toxicity. We have these things at CleanEarthForKids.org. We have them in spreadsheets.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to the next caller.
Consuelo. The most insane thing is that the majority of society still hasn't a clue of what is happening in Canada or on the different parts of the earth. The revolting is taking place unbeknownst to the masses. Reminder, the revolution will not be televised. We must come together now, people who are awake. It's not going to work any other way. You want to perpetuate the system? Then keep right on voting. You keep thinking that you actually have a say-so as to what government does. It's time to stop living in that delusional state of mind. Mental slavery is real. Wake up. Decalcify that beautiful pineal brain of your gland of yours. Do whatever it takes to get present and be aware of what is really, in fact, happening. It's there. The New World Order. They've already told you to your face, but the majority of you are not paying attention. Therefore, if you continue to ignore and keep under their spell, you will continue to suffer. You have submitted to fear and have come to the conclusion that you are not responsible for your own damn life. You've given it up to an unjust government. You've been led to believe that you've been led to believe that they are more responsible for you than you are. In actuality, they don't give a flying fuck about you or your family or anybody you love. You are just a number and easily disposable. Cash cow to them. That is it. They do not care. Wake up. We are being played. We are being murdered. There's a mass genocide happening now as we speak. We are being enslaved. It is time to come together. Be as strategic and polished as them. Distinguish who's on your team and who is on theirs. Be fearless. We never die. There's nothing to fear. All come from a place of love.
Thank you.
Love
Your
all
time is
women.
up. We'll go to the next caller.
Paul Henkin. The law says that if you do teleconferencing, you need to publish your location in the agenda. And I look at the agenda and I never see that. And when will you allow us back into for in-person meetings? Another thing, I really don't like it when a speaker, in this case, Heaven yesterday, goes online and disses other people by name. You know, it turns me off. And I really don't know why you allow it time and time again. I mean, it's really disgusting, disgraceful, and it kind of makes a mockery of all the fancy rule you set up for the teleconferencing that, you know, people can't disrespect you, but they can disrespect other speakers. It's crazy. So, you know, please consider banning him or doing something about it. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the next caller.
Good morning. My name is John Votto with CleanEarthForKids.org. Please take action to protect the public from wood smoke and methane. First, please pass a building electrification ordinance to stop gas lines in new construction. Also stop wood-burning fireplaces for new construction in the ordinance as well. Wood smoke is a complex mixture of gases and fine particles called particulate matter. Particulate matter irritates the lungs, and there's a growing body of research that clearly shows that wood smoke increases the risk of serious health outcomes, including asthma, heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and brain conditions like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and dementia. Wood smoke also contains cancer-causing pollutants like benzene, formaldehyde, acrolein, and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons called PAHs, along with carbon monoxide and methane. Burning 10 pounds of wood in 1 hour creates the same cancer-causing PAHs as 6,000 packs of cigarettes. That is like smoking a pack of cigarettes every day for over 16 years by simply sitting in front of a fire burning 10 pounds of wood in an hour. Please educate the public on the dangers of wood smoke. Natural gas is methane. Methane is a hazardous indoor air pollutant and a major contributor to climate change. Use of gas stoves in the home increases the risk of asthma and other respiratory diseases, and a recent study shows gas stoves leak methane even when turned off. Methane has no business anywhere near children. Please take action to stop the burning of fossil fuels and wood in new construction. Lastly, I ask you to take action to stop secondhand smoke in multi-unit housing. As you know, secondhand smoke is an air contaminant linked to cancer, lung infections, bronchitis, asthma, and many other health issues. Up to 65% of the air in an apartment can come from other units in the building. 1 in 4 non-smokers living in rental housing are exposed to secondhand smoke. 2 out of every 5 children and 7 out of 10 black children are exposed to secondhand smoke, increasing their risks of asthma and other lung conditions. According to the CDC, there is no safe level of exposure to secondhand smoke.
Thank you. Your time is up. We'll go to our next caller.
Hello, my name is Kelly McCormick, and like you, I care about climate change, clean air, and clean water. That's why I recommend that you take a closer look at the environmental impact of marijuana cultivation. An article from a cannabis industry publication details numerous environmental harms that raise serious concerns about this industry's contribution to greenhouse gas emissions and threats to clean air and clean water. In the article, an industry source concludes that marijuana cultivation has the potential to more than double the existing rate of volatile organic compounds in the atmosphere. These VOCs contribute to global warming and can cause respiratory problems for people exposed to the emissions, not to mention the famously bad odor experienced by those who live or work near marijuana farms. A grow house consumes electricity 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to power lights and fans. A University of Colorado study estimates that a 5,000 square foot indoor grow facility uses almost 7 times the electricity as the average home. In addition to this, wastewater may contain fertilizer runoff and pesticides, contaminating the soil and waterways. Please consider whether the environmental impact of pot farms is consistent with the county's climate action goals. There is no dispute that California already has a huge oversupply of marijuana. There is no need for more. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now hear from our 10th and final caller.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Becky Rapp. I'm a parent and a youth advocate. I appreciate the board in your decision to ban all flavored tobacco. We have come to understand that Big Tobacco's goal is to hook kids early and create lifetime users. Today, I would like to point out that this plot is identical to the narrative the marijuana industry is selling, advertising and normalizing a drug that appeals to youth. Flavored marijuana products can be vaped and come in a variety of flavors. The industry takes it a step further with THC and infused desserts such as cookies and candies. Similar to tobacco, vaping marijuana can cause lung damage, creating a lifetime of health concerns. Marijuana has also been proven to be a major factor in the declining mental health of our kids. According to Mark Johnson, head of the Colorado Medical Society, he states, "As I speak with my colleagues in emergency medicine, physicians are seeing what some of them consider to be an epidemic of acute transient psychotic symptoms in their patients who use marijuana, particularly adolescents. Marijuana is also the most prevalent substance found in completed teen suicides. I come here to ask you to consider the harm marijuana is having on our youth. Please consider a flavored marijuana ban, as it only seems logical as the marijuana industry is preying on our young people in an even more acute way than the tobacco industry, with the pure intent of hooking our kids and creating lifetime users." Thank you.
Thank you. For the remaining callers that requested to speak on a matter not listed on the agenda, please hang up and call back at the conclusion of the session. Chair Fletcher, that concludes the request for non-agenda public communication this morning.
Thank you. I think Supervisor Desmond had a quick comment he wants to make.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I would like to ask staff to look into one of the topics of one of the callers, the pesticide use, to verify that the protocols are being followed and those types of things. So I'd like staff to look into that and get back to me on the pesticide use. Thank you.
All right. Next on the agenda is approval of the statement of proceedings minutes for the regular meeting on February 9th, 2022. I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. A motion by myself, second by Vice Chair Vargas. Ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. Supervisor Lawson-Remer?
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond?
Aye.
Vice Chair Vargas?
Vargas, aye.
Chair Fletcher?
Fletcher, aye.
That motion passes unanimously with all supervisors who are present and voting aye.
We'll now proceed with the formation of the consent calendar. Members of the public will have the opportunity to comment after we go through and see if there's any items the public wishes pulled for discussion or comments that you wish to make. We'll start with Supervisor Lawson-Remer.
Just want to comment on one item. Oh, no, never mind. It's not on consent. So go ahead. I'm good. Thanks.
Supervisor Desmond.
Yes, just a couple of comments. First of all, on item 2, I want to thank staff. I just want to take a moment to offer my thanks to those who donated to our Parks Department during this last reporting period. Especially want to thank Cabin by the Lake for their $75,000 donation for ADA improvements to Wahomie Park in Oceanside. It's going to go a long way, and I appreciate seeing the residents of Oceanside and beyond benefiting from increased access to parks and the opportunities to recreate. And I'd be more than happy, Chair, in sending a letter of appreciation to Cabin by the Lake for their donation, maybe from your office and mine, or from the entire staff, from the entire board, I mean, that are in our offices to work together in that effort to send a letter of thank you to that cabin by the lake. Item 4, also want to thank Public Works for that update. Want to recognize and express my thanks for the increase in Transnet funding from the current Transnet that's in place for the South Santa Fe and Coal Grade Road projects. This is great news for the residents of Vista and Valley Center. I'm also happy to see an increase in the Transnet funding for maintenance and overlay projects for all county roads. Any chance to hear good things about happening for local roads is always welcomed and appreciated. And with that, I'll move the consent calendar.
All right, thank you, and happy to work with you on that letter as well.
Thanks.
All right, Vice Chair Vargas.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to say thank you to our Public Works team and Sunnyside Elementary School and the Sweetwater Community Planning Group for their efforts to make the highway pedestrian beacon cross walk project on San Miguel Road a reality. The pedestrian highway traffic signal will be the first of its kind in District 1 and the second in the unincorporated area. These types of highway traffic signals are activated on demand when pedestrians want to cross the street, and they improve safety and visibility for pedestrians in the crosswalk and also reduce overall traffic incidents. And so this is aligned with our region's vision, zero goals, in addition to creating a safe crossing for the students and families in the neighborhood walking to and from Sunnyside Elementary. And so the project also includes new ADA compliant pedestrian ramps. And even better, the project is fully funded by by a federal grant. So this is a great example of the county team working with the community to improve traffic and pedestrian safety in this area. And I'm happy to second the motion.
All right. I have no items to pull and no comments to make. We have a motion by Supervisor Desmond, seconded by Vice Chair Vargas to approve the 4 items on consent. Let me ask the clerk to call forward any public speakers that we have on this item before we vote.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. We do have one request to speak by phone on this item. I would also like to note for the record that we did not receive any e-comments on the consent calendar. Any members of the public that have requested to speak on this item by phone, please dial into the conference line now using the instructions provided to you. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. You will have 2 minutes to address the board. Please begin by stating your name for the record. I would remind callers that they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We will begin with our first caller.
Audra. Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Please proceed with your comments.
Okay. Just wanted to see if you were there. Anyway, so you guys are expanding your traffic advisory committee to bring it to the unincorporated areas. Sounds like more control. Is that a way for you guys to put up more cameras that are already out here tracking us? Yeah, they're going, seeing which way you're going, leaving, coming, making sure that you guys know exactly where people are and what they're doing. And the fact that you're taking donations when you take our money and just spend it on stuff, why can't you guys pay for that upgrade at the park? Instead, you want to basically take other people's money. And this, the Transnet local street improvement. So you want to get 100, and this is where it's a little confusing because it says 142.9 million, but then when you go down into your agenda, it says 142,937,204. So which one is it? That's a big difference in how much you're going to be spending on the roads that are totally unable to be even used, some of them. It takes them years to even get anything done out in the unincorporated areas. You guys like literally take years of our time, and so that people have to go all over the place just to get to where they need to go because you're not even completing projects. I mean, it's just like yesterday when you were talking about wanting to build 70,000 homes. It's going to take you 100 years. What you looking at, Nathan? Does that do you good? I bet. You going to shut off your thing? Where's your math? Anyway, all right. Some more shenanigans. Hope you're having fun sitting in your little office there. Okay. Enjoy. Here you go. One more.
Thank you. Your time is up. Chair Fletcher, that concludes public testimony on this item.
All right, we've got a motion by Supervisor Desmond, seconded by Vice Chair Vargas. Please call the roll.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. Supervisor Lawson-Remer?
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond?
Aye.
Vice Chair Vargas?
Vargas, aye.
Chair Fletcher?
Fletcher, aye.
That motion passes unanimously with all supervisors who are present and voting aye.
We're going to go to our first discussion item, agenda item 5, Traffic Advisory Committee report. Let me ask staff if they have any comments they would like to make on this item.
Chair Fletcher, thank you. We do not have a presentation on this item. This is our Traffic Advisory Committee recommendations. We have certification of existing speed limits, reduction of speed limits in certain community areas, and then also the establishment of 3 all-way stop intersections. So we're happy to answer any questions that you or members of the public may have. Thank you.
All right, let's hear from the public speakers on this item.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. We do have 2 requests to speak by phone on this item. I'd also like to note for the record that we did not receive any e-comments on this item. Any members of the public that have requested to speak on this item by phone, if you could please dial into the conference line now using the instructions provided to you. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. You will then have 2 minutes to address the board. Please begin by stating your name for the record. I would like to remind callers they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. And we will begin with our first caller. Just waiting for them to register.
That's a bit ridiculous. Don't you guys think it's a waste of time to do this calling in when it takes you like 10 minutes just to hear a caller? Like you actually have to take more time out of your precious schedules to listen to people that you're not even listening to. Anyway, with that last one, I wanted to say, I don't understand how improving water quality has anything to do with roads. But yeah, let's just throw stuff like that in there. And, you know, you have all these committees to do things, but I don't think you ever take like actual constituent, you know, advice or input. You just want to use like, you know, the highway patrol, fire, all these different entities that have nothing to do with us and what we think, but you want to reduce the speed in all these areas, which is again, like about control. And how are you going to even enforce the speed when you have a lack of officers? Like, is it going to be another camera that you're going to put up and you're going to be like, you were speeding, I'm going to have to give you a ticket because you can't, you know, prosecute, you know, a picture. Like you actually physically have to catch the person in it. So, yeah, I'm just wondering how you guys think that you're going to enforce that. Are you going to do it, Nathan? Are you going to enforce the speed limit? Maybe your guy outside that's probably got his car running could do it. Just sitting there with it running. It's great. I'd like to take in a moment of silence for all those you guys are murdering with the vaccine.
Thank you. Would you also like to note your name for the record?
Yes, but you interrupted my silence, so it's Audra, but that was really rude.
Thank you. Your time is up. Chair Fletcher, the other public speaker did not call in, so that is going to conclude public testimony on this item.
All right, Supervisor Desmond.
Say, thank you, Chair. Thanks for the presentation. Well, there wasn't a presentation, but there was an update. I always look forward to these updates from the Traffic Advisory Committee as it relates to North County. It's great to see the safety of Alturas Road in Fallbrook was being reviewed and addressed. Road safety improvements are very important. I'm glad to support and for staff's recommendation. And with that, I'll move to approve item 5.
All right. Happy to second that motion. We have a motion by Supervisor Desmond, seconded by myself. Not seeing any requests to speak. Ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. Supervisor Lawson-Remer?
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond?
Aye.
Vice Chair Vargas?
Vargas, aye.
Chair Fletcher?
Fletcher, aye.
That motion passes unanimously with all supervisors who are present and voting aye.
Let's go to agenda item 6, adopt resolution to initiate proceedings for the formation of community facility district. Let me ask staff if they have any comments they would like to make. If not, we'll go to our public speakers.
No comments, Chair. Thank you.
All right, let's hear from our speakers.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. We do have 3 requests to speak by phone on this item. I'd also like to note for the record that we did not receive any e-comments on this item either. Any members of the public that have requested to speak on this item by phone, if you could please dial into the conference line now using the instructions that were provided to you. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments. After the beep, you will have 2 minutes to address the board. Please begin by stating your name for the record. I'd also like to remind the callers they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We will begin with our first caller.
Hi, this is Cindy Eldred. I represent the petitioner for formation of this CFD. We want to thank staff and council, county council and county staff for all their hard work on getting this before you. I'm available for questions if you have any.
Thank you. We'll go to our next caller.
Yes, this is Audra. So you don't interrupt me again. I would like to take 2 minutes of silence for the people you guys are killing with these vaccines and all the children that are being abused and all of the ones that are being trafficked and all of that. So thank you.
Thank you. Your time is up. Chair Fletcher, that does conclude public testimony on this item.
Make a motion to approve the recommendations on item 6. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by myself, second by Vice Chair Vargas. Please call the roll.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. Supervisor Lawson-Remer.
Aye.
Supervisor Desmond.
Aye.
Vice Chair Vargas.
Vargas, aye.
Chair Fletcher.
Fletcher, aye.
That motion passes unanimously with all supervisors who are present voting aye.
We will now resume non-agendized public comment. I'll ask the clerk to call forward any remaining non-agendized speakers.
Thank you, Chair Fletcher. We do have 4 remaining requests to speak on matters that are not listed on the agenda. And for those that requested to speak, if you could please dial into the conference line now using the instructions that were provided to you. When it is your turn to speak, you will be unmuted and you will hear a recording that will tell you to begin your comments after the beep. I'd like to remind the callers that they should mute their TV or live video stream before they begin speaking. We will begin with our first caller. Again, please state your name before beginning your comments.
Hello, on non-agenda.
Yes, you can go ahead and proceed. We can hear you.
Okay, great. So, my name is Noemi Abrego. I'm with Lexit, an organization of Latinos exiting the Democratic Party. This statement represents many concerned residents and myself included in the South County region. As NORA has confirmed that 98% or more vaccinated, and the vaccination still doesn't work. 1 year ago, I was told by my provider that I'd catch COVID, and it dawned on me. In 2019, I had pneumonia. Most of you don't know, but it's called Event 201, and most people that are in the World Economic Forum plan that out to plot and conspire on the people. I have lost faith in the school board here in South Bay, not allowing the children to unmask and to be removed illegally. Sweetwater School District and Chula Vista have now gone virtual. This is because, what's the reason? They're afraid that they'll be served, is my only thought. At this point, the state is not overruling the school board, and it's violating the constitutional rights of the citizens of the United States. They took an oath to protect us, and they are not. So I'm just letting you know that the kids' rights are being violated. And I don't know if you even care, Nora, but I started off here with only 10 people opposed to this, and now I have hundreds of people down here stating that you do need to uphold your oath and to not keep on violating the rights of the people that are here. And ultimately, at the end, God.
Thank you. Your time is up. And Chair Fletcher, that concludes the request for non-agenda public communication this morning.
All right, that concludes the business before the board. We thank everyone, and with that, we stand adjourned.
The next regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors will take place on March 15th at 9 a.m.